My name is Austin Unruh and I run trees for Graziers. So we've found that even if farmers that we work with would like to pay for these practices, they would like to pay for silvopasture out of their own pocket, most farmers just can't do that. Very few farmers are sitting on an extra $20,000 or $50,000 worth of cash in order to invest in a system like this. It's hard to make it cash flow because once you do the planting, you're not going to really get any benefits out of these trees for 5+ years, and most farmers just can't justify making that kind of investment. With these trees, they're keeping the water high up on the landscape. They're keeping the water where it needs to be in a rainfall event so that we don't get flooding off of this farm. They're creating so much more wildlife habitat. They're creating so much more ecosystem services right here, and they're sequestering a whole bunch of carbon into the soil and sequestering carbon in the living tree as well. So there's a whole bunch of public services that these trees are providing, so it makes sense to invest in these tree systems as the public entity. So in Pennsylvania, at this point, we don't have any NRCS funding, unfortunately. So we've had to rely on other sources of funding. We've had to get creative in accessing funding. And for most of our projects here, we've been able to access water quality related funding because we are in a county, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, that sends a whole bunch of pollution down to the Chesapeake Bay. And even though that's mostly not our farms that we're working with, our farms are mostly pasture-based, perennial cover. There's still a lot of good funding available to bring even more water quality practices to the land base here. So that's what we've been able to use in order to get trees established here. But we need a lot more resources to be able to do this, not just in one small county in Pennsylvania, but to be able to do this much more broadly throughout the Mid-Atlantic and throughout the country as well. The changes that need to happen can be very, very minimal, actually. There's already funding and language on the books in several Midwestern states. Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, as well as Missouri and Wisconsin, already have really robust funding for silvopasture through NRCS and their EQIP program. So it's already out there, it's already in the NRCS system. It just needs to be adopted by more states. Some states in the Mid-Atlantic region, let's say Maryland and Virginia, they do have silvopasture funding right now, which is great, but it's more along the lines of funding for pine plantations, which is not what we're going after. We're able to do much more ecologically sound, ecologically diverse hardwood plantings that tend to fit more in the goals of what most dairy farmers and other livestock producers want to see. So having cost share that is similar to what's available already in the Midwest and just adopting that here in the Mid-Atlantic and East Coast region, that would go a whole long ways.